At least I know. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the League of Women Voters. It is a pleasure to have you all here. This is really great attendance, and I see some familiar faces, and I really appreciate that you have an interest in this topic. My co-presenter, Judy Cold, is a business owner in the downtown. She owns the Sanctuary building, and she just texted me that she's on her way, but she had another flood, which is another reason why we need to do this project, because poor Judy keeps flooding out in her building, and it's really pretty awful. So this has been going on for a number of years. These pipes are over 100 years old. And, few things last longer than 100 years. So what I will do, she told me, go ahead and get started. I will tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Bobby Ryder, and I am the president of Pullman Civic Trust. I am also on the board for the Downtown Pullman Association, and I am a landscape architect. So I am following this project pretty closely. It's just, and then I've been the president of the League of Women Voters also, but now I'm just the vice president. So I'm not nearly as important as Allie when she comes in. So let's go ahead and get started on the project that we want to talk about. And I'm going to do my share screen. And okay, there we go. Let's go with that. Here. All right. I want to make sure I know what you're looking at. Are you seeing the Project Downtown website and it's moving? Or you just, yep, you're seeing the whole thing? Now you're seeing it there's a lot of action going on there?
We're going down the street. There's mannequins walking down the sidewalk.
Okay, okay.
Exciting changes are coming to downtown Pullman! Exclamation.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. What I want to get to in this is, and I honestly, I thought I knew how to do this. Give me just a minute. I wanted to run through the video of what is supposed to be coming. And let me see if I can get to it. Nope, not there. Design, let's go here. Design. And those are images. And does anybody know where we get to that? Where we get to the...
Is it a video?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it was playing. Well, and yeah,
But
I think if you go back to design, I remember seeing a video there.
Oh, you did? Okay, because I want the one where you can stop it. There we go.
Yeah,
okay.
That one.
Okay, so I know that some of you have seen this video maybe at a city council meeting, but I think it's good to review it before we talk about some of the things that we will see coming. So I'm going to go ahead and start this, and you'll hear Glenn Johnson.
Some exciting times are coming to Pullman downtown in 2024. Main Street will be rebuilt as part of the vision to revitalize downtown. For one section west of Kamiakin Street, 3 westbound lanes will remain on Main, with a dedicated northbound right turn lane onto Grand Avenue. Larger curb bulbs and realigned crosswalks will improve pedestrian visibility and safety. Plus, new landscaping will welcome people downtown. To slow traffic and increase safety, there will be narrower lanes, creating a more inviting atmosphere. And we'll add new wider sidewalks, freeing trip hazards, and adding space for cafe.
I'm going to stop it there. This is the bike lane, and this is the speed table that you were going from 2-lane to 3-lane. I think most of you know that. And so there's this discussion about what's going on in Pine Street Plaza that I'm going to talk about, and the bike lane and some other elements that are of interest.
Tables and sidewalk sales. The other section east of Kamiakin, Main Street, will narrow to 2 lanes of westbound traffic with a sidewalk level bike lane connected to the Chipman Trail on the north side of the street. Pedestrian lighting and newly placed street trees will add to the welcoming atmosphere of downtown. We heard from you, and parallel parking spaces will be maintained with the addition of 8 on-street ADA compliant parking stalls, making downtown accessible for all. A sidewalk level bike lane paved in color will improve non-motorized.
That is a straight, pretty much a straight shot on this
Connectivity.
On this
Making
shot.
Space for pedestrians to walk side by side. Pine Street Plaza will be expanded into Main Street to slow traffic speeds. A pedestrian activated rapid flashing beacon will ensure people can cross safely on Main Street. Many of the improvements to Main Street you'll certainly see, but we're also enhancing areas you won't see. Very important to the city and our businesses. Replacement of below ground utilities like water, sewer, and stormwater lines. During construction, traffic on Paradise Street will go back to two-way street. It will split at Main Street with 1 lane going west and 1 heading east. And this is really important for all of us. During construction during the spring and summer of 2024, please make a special effort to support Pullman's downtown friendly and locally owned businesses to help them survive during the challenge of construction. We and those businesses, thank you.
Okay, couple of things that I want to point out in this video that I think are going to be salient when I go to show you some other things, if I can find the right thing. Just a second.
We're also enhancing areas you won't see. It's very important.
Give me just a minute.
And our businesses. Replacement of.
Okay, you can kind of see it here. So see how the trees are placed on this side right here. Then, so the cars are parked. There is a utilidor that goes here. And then there's a tree well, and then there's a bike lane, and then there's the sidewalk. So this bike lane basically shrinks the length of the width of this sidewalk. And this area kind of becomes dead space, right? You can't put tables and chairs out there. You're not going to walk out there except to go across the bike lane, which you're going to have to cross the bike lane one way or another. So there's some current concerns about the bike lanes still that remain. Okay, so I want to just let people know that, I mean, that aside, this is still going to be a really cool project. It's going to be great to have new trees. We're working on getting the right trees there, and I know Monique has been working on that. I think that this little diagram, let me see if I can get to that. Oop. This little diagram right here is an interesting one because there's the bike lane and there's Pine Street Plaza. So, you know, it's pretty much was originally going to be a straight bike lane, and now it kind of has a whoopee in it, and we're going to look at that in a minute. But here's another example of the bike lane here. So you can go and look at this at your leisure, but I'm going to now switch over to another, I'm going to close this. And if Judy comes back and wants to talk from it, she can, but quite seriously, she may not be here because she said they're having a very serious flood. So, okay. So I've stopped sharing. Now I am going to go to another screen share, and that will be this one. And can y'all see that? We good?
Yep.
Okay. All right, great. Okay. So I'm gonna start this as a PowerPoint. And we'll move our faces off of. Oh, okay. Now tell me this. Are you seeing our faces or are you seeing the PowerPoint?
We're seeing a PowerPoint that says goal, slow traffic.
Okay, but are you seeing the next slide that's coming? I'm just curious.
No.
No, okay, great. So this is again from the Project Downtown website, and there's that diagram that I illustrated before. So they are going to be narrowing the travel lanes from 12 feet to 10 feet. They're going to be doing 2 blocks as 2 lanes, which is going to be a big change, and bringing in the side, the corners, the crossings closer with bulb outs. They are going to have a raised, they call it the speed table right at the intersection of Pine and Main. And then new street trees will be going in. Right now they show 15-foot trees in terms of mature canopy. And people are, what I'm hearing from the tree people, we refer to the tree people, but anyway, I think we're all tree people, would like to have a broader canopy on there. So, so as a transformative project, as I mentioned, I mean, really, this is truly, Project Downtown is truly a once in a lifetime type of project. I mean, what they do here is what we will be able to enjoy long into the future. And we all know we need new sidewalks in a very bad way downtown. We just need to clean up so much of the brokenness of downtown, and the opportunity to do that rests with this money from the federal government, which are ARPA funds. So many of us maybe have seen the design laid out from time to time. I'm not sure if you understand it in the same way that I understand it, because I look at these things differently. As someone who worked in major capital at WSU for 20 years, and I looked at pretty much any landscape plan that came across our desk with a major capital project and some minor capital projects, I would be reviewing those. I also taught landscape architecture at WSU, and so I've seen a lot of landscape designs, and particularly around major capital. Anyway, what I want to show on this one is that one thing I would like to see a little bit more of in this project, because we're all in this together. The project is over budget. The city feels that they can borrow from other places to balance this. And I am not a finance person, so that is not mine to comment on. But I believe we're up there about 3 million over. So to accomplish trying to bring it a little bit of constraint and further closer to what we have in the ARPA money, is you would do a thing called value engineering. And the things that I see as low-hanging fruit are things that we actually have been able to accomplish. One is this Pine Street Plaza. They will be replacing Pine Street Plaza here with it'll be the same pattern but new pavers, because it's cheaper to do new pavers than it is to try to lift each paver out, number it, collect it, put it in a truck or on a surface, find a place to store it, bring it back. What you do is you prepare the surface, you order in your pallet, it's all put together, it's all perfectly fit, they slide it off, they place the circles, and then they work the brick around it. And it would be an installation of 2 weeks using new pavers, and think of manpower and how expensive that is. It's not materials, it's manpower that's expensive, versus probably 4 to 6 weeks. And this is also a really tight timeline. So that was a really good move, and I compliment the council for making that decision. The bike racks, I have recommended that they don't powder coat the bike racks, because there's no reason to powder coat stainless steel. It's an authentic material, it's timeless, and they have agreed that they will not be powder coating the bike racks. These are very small things. I'm going to talk later on about a table and chairs project, a pilot project to try to activate spaces in the downtown. We're trying to do more to bring people downtown, and I'll be talking about that tonight. We're able to work with the council and request that the Walk of Fame monuments that are located here, there were 4 of them right at the entrance to Pine Street Plaza, where this little bend in the bike lane happens. And they the council did vote to eliminate those, and we're very appreciative of that. Couple things that until, you know, my belief is that until they start digging, maybe there's hope. And I think that the bike lane is in the wrong place. I think it should be alongside here, and I'm going to show you some drawings of that. And the at-grade planters, these are at-grade planters here. If I could, I don't know if I can zoom in much. But anyway, these little lines across here are stepping stones. So if these little blue things here are your, if that's your car, and you get out and you're not where the stepping stones are, you are probably just going to walk on through the planter bed. So I think that would be a place where we could have wider sidewalks and maybe eliminate some of all of these yellow areas. Those are planter beds. There are a lot of planter beds in this project. These down here that have rocks in them, they are stormwater basins. Pretty much near as I can tell, but I haven't seen the calculations. Those are going to be required by DOE to treat, to settle out the particulate that's coming off of streets and off that whole hillside up onto that goes up Pioneer Hill to treat that before it goes into our rivers, into our storm drains and into our rivers. So those are some of the things I'm going to talk about. The other is this, so that's the at-grade planters, the pervious concrete bulb outs. The bulb outs, great idea. Are you all able to see this drawing very well, or is it tiny?
I can see the drawing, Bobby, but if you're moving a cursor around or something, I'm not seeing that part.
You're not seeing the cursor?
No. What color is it?
It's the typical arrow. So okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take this out of the slide mode, if that's okay. And I'm just going to work from my PowerPoint. So give me just a minute. Sorry, but I think it's important for you to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so let me slide this one over. How can you see that?
Now I'm seeing your desktop.
Okay, which you're seeing?
I think it's your desktop. It has all your icons on it for your article, your documents.
And the sun.
How about there? Are you?
There we go. That's good.
All right. Yeah, don't look at my desktop.
Oh.
That's a picture.
Now I can see your arrow.
Into my brain. Okay, good. Well, the other thing that's good about doing it this way is I can, oops, okay, cancel. I can zoom into it a little bit more. And so I think we're going to work with that. So what I'm talking about with the bulb outs, these are bulb outs here, right? And they are pavers laid in sand and on top of pervious concrete, which is on top of gravel, and then onto the subgrade of clay soils. And so, you know, I think those are probably going to stay. They're probably not going to filter a lot of, there isn't going to be a lot of water that percolates through those. But at any rate, those are one thing, another place where there could be the ability to save money. So the other thing I want to say about, roll back up here, what is value engineering? So value engineering is looking at not only the cost of the project when you are putting it in and buying materials and labor and all of that, but it's also the life cycle costs going forward. So what is it going to cost to maintain this landscape, for example? And it's going to, there's a lot of planter beds in this project, and it is going to keep them looking good. It's going to take a lot of manpower. Something that I have pointed out, and I don't know, maybe they care, I'm not sure. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about a little bit more is this area right here. And so I showed you that, well, you can see it here, this right here. Can you see this little crosshairs that I have? That's where the bike lane is proposed or is drawn in the construction plans to go. That takes out at least 10, maybe 12 feet out of Pine Street Plaza. If they were to flip this and move so in other words, the tree wells are here, and I'm saying move them up there and where the path is, or where the bike lane is, and move the bike lane next to this red area is the utilidor. And I will also, to my knowledge, most bike lanes for commuters in towns are green. So I'm assuming, and I believe it has not been told differently to me, that it will be green concrete. So here are this sketch shows the pavers that are existing, and we're asking them to replace those. So there's a dilemma here. I don't know how that's going to be resolved, but I'm hopeful that when we meet next week in a design committee or in a workshop with Welsh Comer, that we can have this discussion. And, you know, it isn't over till it's over. So I'm hopeful that we can have a good discussion on that. One thing I wanted to show here is if the bike lane moves. So if the bike lane from here to here, I think it's about maybe 10 feet. If you go from here to here, no, I guess it's 12 feet. Anyway, you go here to here, you got about 17 feet. And then if you put out tables and chairs, these are tables here, you can easily have a bank of tables and chairs underneath the canopies of the trees and still have plenty of room for pedestrians to walk. With the bike lane there, if you just, because what you can have with this is you can have this idea of being able to go in between the tree wells. So so you bought some more usable space. Let's go to another place that's a bit of a concern is down by Sanctuary, and this is Judy's place. So if you're coming over the bridge, the viaduct, this is the way the path is recommended now. And if someone's coming up, if you've ever been to the back of Sanctuary, it's a very, very steep driveway. And if this little red guy here is a bicyclist, you can see that, and she's trying to get onto the bike lane, and a car is coming up out of that pretty difficult to see already driveway. The potential for collision here is pretty great. If they were to do what's down here, I'm gonna go a little bit bigger and roll it down, and stay on the road, and then in the Oasis driveway, which is completely flat, it's very easy then to hop onto the bike lane. And if the bike lane is over here, it's even easier. So those are some things that I'm hoping are still in play. So what we're proposing is, shrink this again, is that we really follow what NACTO is recommending in the National Association of City Transportation Officials. It's kind of like they write the Bible on this stuff, right? And they like raised commuter lanes or some kind of definite separation from cars, which is what you have with something like this, which we have a 3-foot utilidor where there'll be lights and pipes and electrical and all that'll go in there. But right now we have trees here. And what we want is the trees over here so that you separate the pedestrians from the bicyclists and put the bicyclists in as commuters. Yeah. And so we did show, there were some other drawings that we showed and had a meeting with DOT last September. And at the end of presenting what we would like to see, there was a silence, and the DOT person said, I really like what you're doing. I like what you're proposing. And so I emailed him later and said, how long, if we were to do this, how long a review would that require? Because we've heard that, oh, it's going to be another 90-day review, da, 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 da. I said, could you do it in 30 days? And he said, actually, as his boss responded and said, that's a very good question. I think we could do it in 30 days if you have a public process. And I do believe we're going through a public process with Welshcomber now. So we'll see. We have time because we're following NACTO guidelines. So now I want to talk about some of the other design elements that we'll see and sort of examples. Over here, we have these things, these big planters called core. They're made out of that rusty kind of metal. It's called core 10. I mean, they're like tanks. They're really, really sturdy. So I think we looked at different things and images and found this was an interesting one of how to deal with creating seating. I mean, those core 10 planters could hold up a lot. Or you could use the planters well planted in place of something like this and creating another kind of interesting outdoor seating. Here's a very attractive planting in those planters. Of course, it's in Seattle, and in Seattle, everything looks beautiful. But it with the right irrigation, this is certainly the idea of utilizing those planters in an artistic way, which I think it's been tried, but I don't think it's been as successful. And I think that there's the willpower to try to get that working better. Now, let's talk about spaces. So this, I mean, I think we could all agree that, yeah, we'd really like to have something like this in our downtown. We like the look of having places where people can sit and have their coffee and converse and so forth. And so, the idea, I'm going to talk later about the idea of chairs and tables versus benches. On chairs and tables, people sit and talk to each other. They're face to face, they laugh. And benches, you might get one person on a bench, and you get two if they really like each other. So cost effective wise, the benches have been cut out of the project. However, there's been funding from T-Mobile, a grant from T-Mobile to buy benches. So we're now working with the Downtown Pullman Association to really be thoughtful about where the fixed thing about benches, and they become fixed, and that restricts whatever you do in that space. They are things that are not going to move easily. So in this drawing, or in this image, it is approximately 20 to 24 feet in width. And that we will be getting only half of this. This was a street that went through there. So if these are tables and chairs all down here, we're going to get from here to here. That doesn't even, I mean, we don't even get to capture, the bench space over here. So I think it gives you a little bit of perspective that most of the sidewalks are going to be 10 feet in width, approximately, and that's as wide as they're going to go. So in terms of using a table and a chair or grouping them, it's going to be tight. So what we started looking at is the power of the movable chair. And there's been a lot of sociological studies about this. Not that we have this opportunity, although I suppose in Rainy Park, but the idea of grouping people with chairs are going to orient it toward the sun, or they're going to orient it toward the shade. They're going to pick them up and they're going to move them to where they want it to be. And it gives them the choice that they want to have. So just yesterday, Gigi, who is on this meeting, Gigi, raise your hand, I worked with Gigi, but she really took the lead on this. I can hardly take any credit at all, except that I kept thanking her. But we worked together on trying to identify some tables and chairs. And Gigi, you are welcome to turn on your sound and pipe up and talk about what we're doing here. So we are starting a pilot program of purchasing aluminum chairs and tables, like this table, and umbrellas. And if you want to see a sample of this table, there is one on the platform that overlooks the river behind the library. It now has some pretty blue chairs with it, but there's a table there, and it's the Lancaster table. So it will be, you know, it's very nice. And so we've had a chance to look at it. And then these chairs, if we go with these, we're still kind of tightening up what we're going to buy. You can see them at Porchlight Pizza, actually. And then there's another one here, but we've also found another one that we're considering. Gigi, any thoughts? Anyway, if you turn on.
I'm here, Bobby. This is Judy, and I was just going to say thanks to everybody. Yeah, we're very excited to make space more usable, and this is something that DPA will be able to at least get us a start with the grant that we had from T-Mobile, with some of those funds going for this movable furniture. And Gigi was super instrumental in asking for additional funds, and we'll see if we got it, but we're asking for the AARP has a grant that Avista suggested we go for to help, you know, because people need to have seats that where they need them, right? So I think that's the beauty of being movable. So I just want you guys to apologize for being a little bit late, but yeah, that's one of the things DPA is definitely working on, is, you know, making sure people activate our spaces downtown, and we might have to move those around a little bit, especially while the construction is going on to different areas as, you know, things progress.
So the idea with this, we can buy a set of a table, 4 chairs, and an umbrella for $500, and you can buy a bench for one bench is, I believe, Judy, do you know how much each bench costs?
I think it was $5,000.
What? I thought they were
$2,500.
I think they're like, yeah, but then burden it up with, but yeah, they're expensive. But I mean, everything's expensive.
So, but with tables and chairs, we can create more active spaces, and we can move. We can have pop-up things that happen here, pop-up events. We can bring them in, but when they're not being used for some kind of event, we can loan them to businesses that might need tables and chairs to be used out their back doors, such as in the Rico Alley, which we're working to pave that and make it more appealing. And then also back behind Bruce Books is another place. So we're looking for places where we can tuck these, and you know, it's a growing pilot kind of project, and stay tuned, you'll see more of that. These they will be tilting umbrellas, which will be good for sun, and they probably we're not going to be doing the solar lights. We'd like to, but they're a little bit more money. But the tables will be black, the chairs will be aluminum, and you can have any color umbrella that it comes in. So, all right. The other thing I want to talk about, I showed in that plan that there are storm basins. Sometimes they like to refer to them as rain gardens, but rain gardens don't really work very well here. But storm basins, you know, they're trying to filter the soil and have it drop out before the water goes into the storm system. So these are, you know, here's an example of the storm basin. This is a pretty new one. It's just getting started. This is one, you've probably seen some up in Spokane that are, I've seen several up there on Lincoln Street and other areas that look nice. Certain times of the year, the rain will be in them, of course. In Pullman, we're going to need to be really diligent in attention to these, because here's an example of where they were done, something like this, up at our new high school. It doesn't look great. I don't believe it was ever irrigated, but we are going to have rock mulch in all those flower beds on Main Street. And also, I want to remind people that we have a lot of people living downtown, and there's a lot of dogs these days. That happens to be my dog. But so these areas are going to require some cleaning, I think. So another program that was in Gigi's grant was called the Celebration Wall. And this is an example of a pumpkin wall that we would like to do for Halloween. And we're asking for money to buy the materials. And we're trying to see if the high school might be interested, the shop might be interested in building it. But if not, we will find the volunteers. We will get it built. It's pretty basic, simple construction. And I think the benefits to it could be quite great. I happened to attend this pumpkin wall, which I believe is the same neighborhood. It's in North Carolina. And so I took these pictures, and look at these cute little girls here. They're so proud of their pumpkins. I mean, it was a huge event. They kept expanding. The wall kept growing and growing at Halloween, and you just light the pumpkin. I mean, you carve your pumpkin, you show up on a certain time of day, you get it there before noon, you get to be on the wall, and the volunteers fill them with Christmas lights and it's a parade, right? It's a display. And if you get the kids downtown, the parents will come, and then they got to go eat. I mean, there's all these things that can happen to activate our downtown and our spaces. It's going to be interesting where we put the pumpkin wall this year, because they will be tearing up. I believe Pine Street will probably be put back together by then, but we're looking at other places where we could do it. So Gigi's put together the Celebration Wall vision board, which I really appreciate. And these are other examples. So there were these are kind of like just botanical displays. But we can take it into, we can start with Halloween, and we can move it through Thanksgiving, and then at Christmas we can have wreaths, we can have ornaments, we can, build upon our holiday fest and do that kind of active participation thing. The other great thing was Gigi put this beautiful thing to vision wall or vision board about the tables and chairs, and the idea of updating the planters. So yeah, be watching for the power of the movable chair and our furniture to begin to create more active spaces. Now I'm going to go and talk. These are the kind of really fun things that are coming up. Last year, in the original plan, maybe some of you know that there were monuments, the Walk of Fame monuments. And I applaud the council for removing those monuments. It was partially in part because of Pullman Civic Trust building life-size monuments that they took into city council. And so you could see that they were pretty hefty boys there. So there would be 4 of them right at the entrance to Pine Street Plaza, and we were able to modify that. So that was a good thing. Another great thing that happened in the downtown, as you know, if you've ever walked across the bridge at Pine Street, is the mural on the backside of the Thomas Hammer building. And these are pretty much the crew that did the work. This is Tori Shao, who was the artist that designed it. And she was really quite lovely to work with, and so easy to work with, really. She was brilliant. It was a beautiful piece. So there's the finished product. So that's another win. Another win was I wrote a grant on behalf of the Downtown Pullman Association for a USDA. We applied to the USDA small, let's see, rural business development grant. It's the same funding source that funded the lights on the bridges and on the trestle. And it was to repair some things in the back. We were trying to activate the backs of the buildings during the time that construction is happening on Main Street. And hopefully some of this activation will actually get a boost and become more usable spaces. So in this picture here, this is what it looked like before we started. All of these buildings, all of the buildings, we call this Triangle Alley. It's back behind Neil's Flowers and Coffee and Bruce Books, and this is the Art Top Theater and so forth. All of those buildings drained onto the ground. So in thinking about, I mean, I originally started out, well, why don't we just go back there and pave it and clean it up? It would, even that would be, you know, put some lights, it would be pretty. Well, there was a bigger systemic problems with just plain basic drainage. So we decided to tackle that. We built it into a grant, and we received $74,000 to do that. Total project cost with matching was $103,000. And so we decided to work on the backside of this alley, and then the backside of Bruce Books as well. So on this project, it was really about how to get the pipe in there and what were they going to find. Just like going down Main Street, they don't know what they're going to find. There's always this caveat when you start excavating things that are really, really old. But fortunately, they did not have a lot of trouble. I mean, they had to go underneath some things here. They figured it out. And I got to give a shout out to Motley and Motley. They got in there and put all this stuff in. It was cold, it was miserable. These guys were hand digging, they were laying it all in, and they got this done in a week and put it back together and packed the gravel in there, restored it. And then this owner said that he really doesn't want those rocks after all. So they're going to go back in and dig this out and take this out, and they're going to relay more gravel and pave back there so there can be tables and chairs, and back to our table, movable chair.
Bobby, can I add? Because I think that's a really good point in terms of the total cost of that. Because again, we got 74, you got 74 from the grant from the USDA, but then your time and effort and the matching. But to do that as a business, that, you know, these small, I'm a business owner in downtown. It's a challenging place to have a business. I mean, we're highly seasonal. We really only have about an 8-month business year. And so taking on some of these projects like that is a fairly, you know, it's complicated because everyone was tying together. So it's not just one building or one owner, and it's older stuff. You don't know what you're going to get, you know. So a small business to take on that kind of thing to improve the drainage and improve the back of it just wouldn't have happened without DPA and without Bobby. And, you know, and I think, but we're here and we're definitely, as part of an organization, committed to making our downtown thrive. We need partners, we need help, we need volunteers, and we also need partners at the city that are willing to help things go smoother and be easy to work with as we try to help people. But so, you know, we're down a path and we're making progress. And Bobby was fearless in this thing. I mean, there was times where she sat in a chair and didn't move for an hour waiting for somebody at the city to make a decision about not, you know, what kind of drainage need to go in here. But that's kind of the tenacity we have to get some of this stuff pushed through. It's a little bit too hard, frankly, than it should be right now, but hopefully things will be improving. Do you have anything you want to add there, Bobby? We could use help just with all of y'all talking to and getting involved and talking to your council people and saying, how are you guys helping the businesses get through this? How are you, you know, how is the city staff, you know, are they being more accommodating? Are they being, you know, are they functioning in the gray instead of being so like draconian, black and white in terms of how they are typically? I mean, do you want to add anything, or am I already getting us in trouble?
No, I think you're doing great. You're doing great. I want to add a little bit. I mean, this still doesn't look like all that much has been done, but it has. And I want to say the other thing that's been great is working with these property owners and business owners. I mean, they've been so appreciative. Uh, I mean, truly, they know. I mean, Rico's said every year they flooded every year. They didn't flood this year. They're so tickled. And so once we get the asphalt in, I mean, they're already draining properly, but when we get the asphalt laid and they get it graded properly, it's just gonna be nice and clean. It's gonna be good. And you know, I was standing back there and I don't have the image of I mean, the electrical back there is just, I mean, it's a big spider web. So how do you work with that? We're gonna be bringing in cafe lights, you know, and you can kind of zigzag them. I probably should try to find that picture. I will, Judy, once we go off and try to dig that out. But you know, where you can activate that space, you know, you activating your back alleys has a lot of benefit financially for sure, because you can feed that many more people. And then if you kept going around the corner here, which you can't see, unfortunately, it used to be the old barbershop. And there are these three wonderful little arched brick openings there. And so I'm working with that business owner to see if we can maybe get some art in the, you know, nice bright colored art things in those holes, kind of like this. Like instead of that, maybe it could be nice painting mural, and maybe we could get some art going on the doors here. So
you know, Bobby, is that towards Kamiakin or is that towards Maine? I haven't been here when there's been a barbershop.
The barbershop is this wall back here, and unfortunately,
okay.
I don't believe
so that's towards Kamiakin.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No, that's toward Maine. I mean, if we kept going back through there, that would be, but it's a closed off alley. I mean, you can go in the back door of Rico's is what you can do. Yeah. That's
it's the back of, isn't it the back of Sharia Moore?
Sharia Moore, yeah. But they have multiple buildings. They have several buildings along there. And then this, of course, is the gathering place. And that's an outdoor space. That's got great opportunity too. So, I mean, it takes a lot to get these things going, but sometimes you just have to start. You just have to bite the bullet and go for it and just try to, I mean, I could not believe, I'm going to go back here on this project. I didn't think on July 1, I didn't know how I was going to do this. Was last summer. I didn't know how I was going to do this, get this mural funded. I mean, I think we had $10,000 or $12,000, and I knew I needed $30,000 because we had to have insurance, and it's a 30-foot tall by 100 feet long building. We had to have scaffolding, and we were on the river. You know, I mean, this is a big building, and so to raise that money felt kind of daunting, but I am telling you, if it's something that people care about, they will donate and they will come forward. They will come through for you. And it was like Christmas. Every day I went to the downtown, the DPA office, Downtown Pullman Association, and there would be these envelopes on the mail drop, that I just was like, oh my gosh, what a generous community we live in. And so I'm really hoping that those same people that gave so generously last year plus more will continue to support the downtown businesses during this construction period, because it's going to be, you know, it'd be so much easier to just like, you know, keep going on Grand Avenue to get to the other side of town or what have you. But if you have the chance to go have a coffee date, to go have a delicious meal, those restaurants are still going to be in operation, and go get it, you know, create a social life for yourself, make it downtown Pullman. So I'm just going to close this with, this is part of the painting of the mural. Sarah Barnett is a graduate student in fine arts. Well, she's now a graduated graduate student. And she's amazing. She led this painting portion of the project in an incredibly ferocious way. And I'm going to show you Sarah. Sarah is this little person here with this great apron on that, you know, paint went on that apron in a big way. And then here's Tori. I mean, they just don't worry about wearing paint. Paint is like a status symbol. It's wonderful. And so to get these oops, I'm going to go back here. To get these projects done, Tori had the coolest signature. And then somehow I kind of got some little thing in there because the three of us were the ones that were on the wall the most. And it was so fun. And it took us 9 days. We got it done in 9 days. And Emily Pierce wrote a wonderful article about it. And I want to thank her for that. It was a really great experience. I've never done a mural before, and I definitely would do one again. That is my presentation. Judy, do you have more that you want to talk about? Or should we get off of here and take questions?
I think we can, we have 2 minutes. We can open it up for questions. And I apologize for not being here on time. I had actually a plumbing emergency in my own building. So this downtown project cannot be happening soon enough for some of us on this antiquated infrastructure that we're sitting on. But just so you guys know, DPA, we have 3 big goals. You know, our mission is to have a thriving downtown and to activate it as a space. One big goal for this year is to continue to bring visitors to our downtown, and doing that through events and other ways, working with like Pullman Civic Trust on Pedal Pullman and the Chamber on things like Lentil Fest. And we call it, our aspect of that is Downtown Vibes. We also want to help support the businesses through, especially now given the construction, but how do we, you know, help them and advocate for them. And the final thing is we are part of the Main Street organization, which is a pretty proven model on, you know, basically placemaking and economic development in a downtown. And so we're doing things right now. We're considered an affiliate of the program, and we're with the hopes that we will eventually become a designated accredited a Main Street organization. And then we were able to reclaim, or people can direct their B&O taxes instead of going back to Olympia to do who knows what with, they can direct them to businesses or entities in the Main Street program that have received that level. So people could redirect their B&O taxes back to the community, which would be nice. So there's some great things we're working on. And if you guys have any questions, we're always looking to build our capacity and get some more people involved. It's really 4 big groups. Bobby's very involved, and what you saw today was mostly around our design work and actual physical work that we do to improve the physical aesthetics of downtown. But we also do those promotions committees, like events. We do outreach, which is about telling our story and recruiting money, writing grants and recruiting people. And then the last one was economic development, in terms of like really what kinds of toolkits and help can we give to our downtown businesses. So that's kind of like the 4th different committees that we have in DPA. So
Judy, there's some questions here on the side, so you can help me.
Sure. Okay.
And maybe somebody else can answer. I mean, I don't know everything. I know a couple things. So Elizabeth Seiler has asked, there has been nothing I've seen in the latest iteration of any 8 ADA spaces. Where will those be? And I don't have the answer to that. Do you, Judy?
In terms of, I know that one of the reasons why they are redoing the sidewalks and stuff is just because it's so poor right now as far as accessibility, so uneven, etc. As far as any specific ADA spaces designated in the plans, I haven't seen.
Well, I know there's 2 on Main.
Okay.
And you mean these are on the other ones have got to be on the side somewhere. So Elizabeth, I didn't know there were supposed to be 8. So you know more than I know.
I'm talking about parking. No, I thought you just meant general spaces, like parking spaces.
No, parking.
Okay.
Are you talking parking, Elizabeth? I assume. It's the only ADA spaces I can think of.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk about sidewalks if you're talking about parking. I didn't understand that's what you meant. Sorry.
Okay. I don't know where Elizabeth is. Chime in, Elizabeth, if you're interested.
Sure.
And so, except that this was done, much of it, including the trees in the 90s, so twice in my life.
I think Liz left the meeting.
Okay.
I don't see her name.
Okay. Please have flat seats on the chairs, not slanted from front to back. Slanted seats are bad for your posture and back health. You know, we're going to see what we can find on that. That's an interesting comment. So thanks for that, Nancy. Libby, what stops the aluminum chairs from blowing all over in the wind that we have in Pullman? You know, that's some of the stuff that we're considering right now. Gigi, do you have any thoughts on that? You want to unmute yourself? Because Gigi said, I think these might blow away. We have talked about locks.
Bike locks?
Yeah, I actually responded to that. We are going to order a sample set of furniture and test everything out. So we're considering cable locks or other measures to make sure everything stays in place, or maybe we'll just look for a little bit heavier chair.
Right. And so, you know, there's kind of this trade-off about, do you lock them? Do you know, we're hoping that by lending them to the businesses, that they, with an agreement, they'll take care of them and we'll have a signed agreement with them. They'll bring them in at night, things like that, because really they can use these tables and chairs, at least some winters, for a really long time. I mean, look at outside Neil's coffee. People are out there drinking coffee all the time. So again, it's a pilot program. We're going to figure these. Yes. Somebody was talking. Okay. And so we're going to order the sample sets. And is it true that the businesses will have to pay for use of sidewalk after the project is done? What is the international? Okay, that's something else. You know, I don't really know what, I mean, right now they do. They do have leases for the sidewalk space. The city has that. So I don't know what that's going to mean after the project is completed. That's a really good question, though. Okay, let's see. Those are the two. And as someone who rides a bike every day for the last 25 years, is there any way of making the bike path two-way? Yes. And I agree with that. Bicyclists do not ride one way.
So Bobby, this is Tim. The question would be how wide, and if you, in your plan, by moving it out, can you gain some extra space to maybe make it wide enough? And what are the regulations as to how wide it has to be to make it two-way?
Well, probably 10 feet, but because that's, I mean, if one way is 5 feet, right, I would say 10. I know that that's a dilemma because that's not how bicyclists ride. However, it is a one-lane commuter, which is the other reason, by moving that lane out so that it becomes kind of the car travel. Because if it was a bike lane that was in the road, you would not ride it backwards on that street, right? You would follow the rules. And so by moving it closer to the cars to make it part of the transportation system, it's much more clear and it's safer for everyone. Because yeah, where it's going now, there's going to be bicyclists going toward each other. That's just the nature of the beast. Let's see. Can you clarify for us again, the bike lane location? Is it going to be on the sidewalk or down with the traffic? It will be on the sidewalk. And those are all my questions. So if there's any, yes.
I saw a question about, is it true that the businesses are going to have to pay for the sidewalks, the use of the sidewalk when it's all done? In there, did you already answer that one?
No, because I didn't know.
Well, there is today, even if you have, I guess, if you have chairs out on the sidewalk, there is a very nominal, I think it's like $10 or some very nominal land lease that the businesses pay. But all those leases will be canceled and redone for the new sidewalks. So there will be some sort of payment. I don't think we've been given a rate or anything like that, but they do today and they will have to pay in the future, but hopefully it's not exorbitantly expensive.
So that was $10 a month, a year, a day?
I have no idea. I've heard it's.
According to CJ Rowe-Bearer, it's $10. She's paid once and never again.
Oh, so
That's
you
a good
get it for
deal.
a lifetime?
She's only paid it once,
Oh,
never again. That's all I know.
okay. They don't send you a bill every month, huh?
No, and she also received the notice that Judy clearly was mentioning, that it's going to be renegotiated, and she's not been given a rate.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows yet on that, but I do know on the upside of it. I mean, Tawny, part of why Tawny has said we have to, move forward on the project. She said summer is a very, very important time for Rico's. Those outdoor tables are just very helpful for their business, very helpful. So if we can get more people activated out on the sidewalk, that would hopefully help businesses with, be well worth what they're going to have to pay for that lease. And hopefully they'll keep the price low. I'm really hoping it's,
Yeah. So we're hoping that we get Motley in terms of Rico's in the back alley there. I just met with Chuck, the guy from Motley, and he's got it down. They're going to send their guys out. There's going to be a lot of hand shovel work and moving rocks and everything. And they're going to bring in the gravel, level it, flatten it. And when they fire up their asphalt plant on April 1st, they were first on their list. So
someone's here.
Yeah. So that's what we know about downtown. And we've been tracking it as closely as possible. Thank you very much, everybody. I don't have any more information to impart.
Well, thanks, Bobby, for all the information you've given us.
I wish I could say it was going to be done super easy without any problems, and they weren't going to find any hidden bodies down underneath the main street, but we just don't know. So we all need to be patient. We all need to be respectful and thoughtful to these guys that are out there doing the job. And we have been meeting with Apollo, the contractor, and Welsh Comer, and they're all, they're really truly building a team, and that's exciting. And I think that it's going to be a great project. So thanks everyone for attending tonight. It was wonderful.
Thank you, Bobby.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. So will this be on the website to watch later?